Hello and welcome to healthyhouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. Today's video is sponsored by our Amazon affiliate link, which you'll see in the description below. You'll also see in the description below links to any videos that I mention in this video. So today I'm going to talk to you about Pothos. Botanical name on Pothos is Pruning aureum. So this is a lovely vining houseplant. As you can see, it's one of my favorites because of its versatility, because that it's so easy to grow indoors, and it's nice for filling in areas with other plants. It makes a great plant to add to mixed planters. So here we have a Pothos that was planted not long ago as a mixed planter, and this is a croton here. So this is the Pothos here. There are also available Pothos with variegated foliage, as you can see here. So this one here, beautiful cream color along with the green. A lot of the Pothos too will get a naturally, just the regular Pothos will get a natural different marbleizing. So you can see some marbleizing in the leaves and there with some cream in this Pothos here. So sometimes you'll get just a few leaves with marbleizing. Sometimes you'll get if it's a variegated form, the whole plant will have the marbleizing. Some Pothos are a little bit darker green, some are a little bit lighter green, limey green-ish. So there's a lot of really good variation even in just the foliage of these plants, which makes them, as I mentioned, very versatile. They are very easy to grow. They can go almost dry before protesting much. They I actually had a school teacher give me a Pothos some time ago, and this one actually was a baby from that plant, and she'd leave the plant over the summer in school, and it didn't get very much water. She'd come back in the fall and it was pretty droopy, and she'd water it and it would come back for the year. So I don't suggest droughting your Pothos on a regular basis, but just to show you how really pretty rugged plants they are for indoor growing. They don't need much fertilizer, although they do respond well to fertilizer. They're easy to propagate as well. They can be grown in most lighting situations, from low light, not complete darkness, but from low light to higher light. So they can grow just about anywhere as well. So they're very good, as you can tell, at trailing, which is what's going on with these different plants I have growing here. Nice trailing vine. You can also train them to go up a trellising system. So if you get a small trellising system, you could put the trellis in the back of the pot, and then put the vines to go growing up into the trellis. So that's another option that you can do with Pothos. So, and they make lovely hanging basket plants. Now, in terms of getting them to grow healthy and vibrant, what you want to do is first of all, you do want to avoid overwatering them. They don't respond well to overwatering. Like most houseplants, they will succumb to root rot if you continue to overwater them. So do let them approach dryness. I like to call it approach dryness. So you don't want them dried out completely, but you don't want them wet still. You want them just approaching dryness. And that is where, if you're using a moisture meter, it's generally around the 4 on your moisture meter, because generally speaking, a lot of moisture meters are 1 to 3 is dry in the red zone, and 4 onwards is moisture, and then it becomes moisture and moisture. So around 4, if you do get close to 3, that's okay too. The most important thing, like I mentioned, is not overwatering them. Pothos will start to flag, so what that means is they get the leaves will dull a little bit, and they will get a little droopy. So they'll start to flag when they need watering, and you'll be able to tell. You'll look at your Pothos and you'll think, you look a little funny, and then check the soil, and if the soil is approaching dryness, then it is time to water the plant. I have another upcoming video on 5 different ways to check if a plant needs watering too, which is helpful for for pothos and other plants too. So the watering, and as I mentioned, if you do drought the plant, do water it really well. I suggest bottom watering. I have another video on that where you submerge the plant itself into a little bit bigger container and let it really get soak up the moisture and get very nice and full, the soil nice and full of moisture so that the plant can recover. Pothos will recover generally from droughting. They may lose some foliage. So that's the one reason why you want to try to avoid droughting a pothos, because what will happen with the lovely vine here, and this may have happened to you, as you can see the lovely vine is full of leaves here. Well, when it is droughted, the plant will tend to dump some of the leaves as a result of the droughting, because plants will, when they are droughted, they go into survival mode and they will shed leaves so that the plant doesn't have to take up so much water. So that's why that occurs. And it's not ideal to have a pothos that was once full of, the vine was once full of foliage, to be without foliage. So if that does occur, you can prune the plant back. It will then regrow. You want to prune back to just below a root knot node. So you can see that here, right here, it's this brown part, and that is where you would want to prune right below that, because that's where, if that piece were to be put in the soil, it would form roots. If that piece were to is cut, like we're talking about, then it stimulates the plant to produce more vine. If you leave a long piece that doesn't have that root knot, it's a root node at the end, what happens is that piece of stem will just rot, and you won't get generally new branching coming from it like you were intended. You'll just get a rotting end. So make sure to do that when you prune. And even if you're pruning the pothos to make it more bushier, then that's what you would want to do as well. So that is pruning and pinching, and keeping the plant clean. Because pothos do tend to get a little on the lanky side. So it's always a good thing to do a little pruning. When you do prune pothos, when you prune any houseplant, just make sure not to prune off more than 1/3 of the plant growth at a time. If you prune off more than that, you will shock the plant, and you will also likely make the plant top too small for the pot, which can lead to root rot as well. I have a video on the best ratio for growing healthy houseplants, which is 2/3 plant to 1/3 pot. Okay, so lighting. I mentioned in the beginning, pothos will grow in just about any lighting situation. They do, however, love medium light the best. They can tolerate high light, however, do keep them away from windows. So if you have a western or southern window that gets very hot and bright, especially if it's unobstructed outside, there's nothing outside like trees or anything to obstruct the light, they can get burn. What burn will look like is it will be brown spotting in the middle of leaves, and generally speaking after a bad day at the beach in the sun. So keep that in mind. This plant actually looks like it has a little bit of that. I put this plant out sometime back to get rid of mealybugs. I have another video on that. It's a great way to put the plants out for a little while, and the mealybugs get eaten up. So this here is a sign of sunburn on a plant. You see the brown in there, and then it will, after a while, deteriorate the brown spot too. So that's a good indicator for you if you have sunburned your plant. So medium light, as I mentioned, they can go in dim conditions though, and they do well. They will just grow more slowly in the dim conditions, but they can remain healthy, providing you don't overwater them. And that is very important, especially in dim conditions where they soak up water a lot. They drink water a lot more slowly. Okay, so we mentioned keeping them clean. So you want to keep all houseplants clean, but pothos too, because what happens when you have a lot of foliage that is dying back is that's where pests will tend to congregate like mealybugs. And pothos are susceptible to mealybugs, so keep an eye out for mealybugs, little white pests, little white fuzzy pests on the plants. Look in the especially in the curve of the top of the leaf and at root joints as well, and leaf joints and stem joints, and even at where the soil, the root area where the soil and the base of the plant meet. I have a couple videos on controlling mealybugs as well. They can go without fertilizer for long periods of time, but it is a good idea to fertilize them on a regular basis using a nice organic food. And I do have Green Gourmet houseplant food, which I'll put a link down below. They really respond really well to a nice fertilizer, nice organic fertilizer, so that you're looking for the lower amounts of nitrogen in the fertilizer than a lot of chemical fertilizers have. I have a video on the whole chemical fertilizer versus organic fertilizer information as well. Okay, so if you want a rule of thumb, every 2 to 3 months fertilize the pothos and it will grow really healthy, continue to grow really healthy for you and stay nice and vibrant and continue to really brighten up your home. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And do check the bell if you're a subscriber and would like to be notified when we release new videos.